84 days ago, I moved from Canada to Ireland to restart my life, and today I am recording music in one of Ireland's legendary recording facilities, Windmill Lane Studios. Today I get to go see a music studio in Ireland and record drums. It's gonna be a lot of work. I hate recording drums, but I'm gonna do it. It's for the metal band. It was a little over a month ago I responded to an ad on Facebook for a local metalcore band looking for a drummer, and since then I've been jamming with them and prepping for this day. I don't have my driver's license yet, I'm still studying for it, I don't have a car yet, and nobody is available to give me a ride. So I am taking the bus with all this drum gear. I've done this before. It sucks, but I can do it. Thankfully, it's just a nice straight shot bus ride to the studio. So it's gonna be a pain in the butt walking there. When I did this big move, I had to allot a pretty decent budget to bring all these things with me, which wasn't cheap, but it was necessary because it's a few $1,000s worth of gear, and I wouldn't get a chance to bring it over until later this year or early next year. But the trade-off is, it is heavy and a pain in the butt to bring around. Thankfully, the bus, though, wasn't too far away.
The only way to make this actually doable is to just take a lot of breaks as I keep walking. It's really heavy.
It is pretty cool though that in 3 months I've met some solid homies to shred with and even got a job teaching at a music school, so things are going. Once I got on the bus though, it wasn't too bad, but I had to take several breaks to give my hands a rest because I'm not the type who is highly skilled in lifting heavy things for a long period of time. Windmill Lane Studios was incredible though, and it was really special to make music here because anywhere from David Bowie to U2 to Hozier to Lady Gaga, like legendary musicians recorded in the various facilities here, so even though I'm a small fish in the sea, it felt like I was stepping into rockstar royalty for even being lucky enough to play in these rooms. Once I got in though to the room we were using for drums, I then had to do the usual setup to get them ready. That included tuning everything to make sure it didn't sound like shite, as well as just getting the whole setup comfortable. The pressure was on though because we only had the room for a few hours and I had to really nail these songs because there was no room for error.
Okay, now I'm just midway set up right now. This is the first session I've done in years.
Thankfully, I got a chance to take a break before we started because your boy barely ate before heading out to the studio. They're just setting up. I have an opportunity to eat, and I am gonna take it because we only have until 9 to actually knock out everything. Remember everyone, this is why it's important to show up early. So anyway, after that I went back to the recording room and did a final little check before we started checking the microphones to make sure everything worked.
All the mic checking's been done. We're just waiting for the guys in the other room to get everything live, and then I start just making sure everything sounds good.
I was definitely a bit nervous, but overall I think everything turned out pretty good on the first few runs, and thankfully the bassist in the band was running the session, which meant things were a little less tense and there was some room for shenanigans despite the time constraints.
What did you do?
You forgot the fucking right. You forgot the bell.
Oh.
He was pretty locked in and made sure that I didn't miss any details because Russians demand perfection.
You forgot the bell. What's the bell? Like the way you play, it's perfect. Just don't forget the bell.
Once I got a little looser though, it didn't stop me from taking the piss where I could, because again, if your bandmate's running the session, there's room to be a little bastard here and there in between the professionalism.
Aw, shit, and come. Can I get a oh yeah?
The one caveat to joining a metalcore band that's primarily had the guitarist and the bassist writing the parts prior to you joining is that they come up with sometimes ludicrous ideas, and I totally spaced out at one point on this ridiculous pattern. It didn't slow me down for long though, because you learn over time to keep calm, analyze where you're messing up, and quickly fix it. And afterwards, I got it, no worries. After all the songs were done and everything was great, I headed back into the control room to hear everything. Okay, a couple hours of tracking. I don't know where the control room is. I think it's this way. Hello. Honestly, I went in way more prep than I thought overall, because within 5 hours we set up, mic checked, recorded all the takes we needed, and finished both songs, and we had a whole hour and a half left to spare, so everyone worked quite quickly actually. It kind of actually rekindled the fun in recording drums for me, because I usually just program everything and call it a day, but I'm also chronically hard on myself all the time, and maybe you should trust that if you put 2 decades of work into something, maybe you don't suck as hard as you think.
Alright, now I'm gonna tear down all the drums.
The session was done and all the pressure was off, and all that was left was just to clean up everything and head out, but as usual, the moment you step outside, Ireland just loves to surprise you with fantastic weather.
Fucking hell, it just came down all of a sudden. We just finished our session. It's fucking raining. It just came out of nowhere.
Thankfully, the singer in the band has a car and was nice enough to give us a lift home. I was pretty sore afterwards, because that's the one thing you don't count on with recording, is that when you're trying to be as precise as you can and hit as hard as possible, it wears down your body way more than you think, as opposed to just playing live and going with the flow. So yeah, that was day 84 of restarting life in Ireland, and I think all in all, things are coming along pretty good. So if you haven't yet, hit the follow button, because I'm vlogging my new life here one day at a time, so come along for the adventure and grow with me.